Hello and welcome to this Uni Taster Tuesday, where today we're going to be exploring university courses in physiotherapy. My name is Jon and I'm here from UniTasterDays and I'm going to be hosting this event. And I'm delighted to be joined by Amanda Pike, who is a physiotherapy lecturer and joining us from the University of Winchester. Just before I pass the floor to Amanda, I'm very conscious you are here to hear from her and not from me. I'm always asked during these events about recordings. So if you've got any friends or family members that would find this recording useful, you can access all recordings of all events to date. And we are actually in our 16th week of running these UniTaster Tuesday events. And all recordings are available at the website UniTasterDays.com/Tuesdays, which is also how you can book on future events, and we are running these events for the rest of the year. But I'm delighted to be joined by Amanda Pike from the University of Winchester, who's going to do a session introducing university courses in physiotherapy. So Amanda, I'll pass the floor to you, please.
Lovely, thank you very much, Jon. So nice to meet all of you, albeit virtually. Just before I start, I'm just going to let you know a little bit about me. So I'm a physiotherapist. I have been qualified for over 20 years now, to keep that quiet a little bit. I have been working at the University of Winchester now for nearly a year as a lecturer in physiotherapy. I am also visually impaired, so in a minute I'm going to turn my camera off just because when I read the screen to look at the presentation which my colleague Ruth is running for me, I won't be looking straight at the camera, so you'll have a nicer picture of my guide dog and me, which is much nicer. She's much prettier than me, so hopefully you will enjoy that much more. Okay, so just to start, really, obviously I work at the University of Winchester and we offer, along with some of the universities, a BSc, Bachelor of Science with Honours in Physiotherapy degree course. It's a 3-year degree, which most physiotherapy degrees are at undergraduate level. And we have been validated and accredited by the HCPC, which is the Healthcare Professions Council, which regulates all qualified physiotherapists and student physiotherapists and associate members. And also the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy, which is a professional body that once you've completed the degree course with us, you would be eligible to apply for chartered status. Which gives you access to work within the NHS, many other private and public organisations, and in many countries across the world. Okay, next slide, please, Ruth. Thank you. So I guess what makes physiotherapy special is probably a good place to start. I've had a long and varied career in physiotherapy, working in lots of different environments and lots of different people. I think it's been a really rewarding career and really challenging. And I think back to my student days, and it is a challenging course. There's a lot to learn, but actually it's really rewarding at the same time. So at Winchester, we've got some brand new spacious facilities that we're really proud of in terms of our practical space that we have available. We're based in the High Street at Winchester currently. It's a lovely location. Our team is probably one of the best teams I've worked with in my career, I think. Lots of experienced academics, but also clinicians still practicing in their area, and there are many experts within their field. I think our values at the university fit really nicely with the NHS constitution and NHS values in terms of compassion, individuals matter, and spirituality. I think it's about looking to develop you as a person as well as your professional self. We think involvement matters. I've just said individuals matter, but involvement with people matters to us. We have a strong collaboration with patients and partners. We have lots of service users involved in our course, setting up the course, interviewing prospective candidates, our service users, and our local partners and our clinicians are part of that process. And we often have patients come in to do demonstrations, so you actually get to see real life patients during that. We also have quite a contemporary programme. If you look at the top right of the slide there, our kind of mission statement really, our aim is to develop the workforce of the future. And I think that the requirements of that is to be an independent thinker and to be able to deal with change. If you look at health and social care and how things change so rapidly, having those skills and qualities is really important. Next slide, please. So I guess most physiotherapy courses would aim to include most of this, but I'll pull out some of the bits that I think are a little more unique to Winchester. So integration, you study a lot of anatomy, human anatomy, physiology and psychology, with some elements of pharmacology, which is medicines management. And we provide at Winchester some close links with practice using real life case studies. I said earlier that most of my colleagues are still working clinically and experts in the field. So we have real patient experience to bring to your academic studies. One of the things I think is a bit new and innovative at Winchester is the integration of health promotion in terms of prevention. So really big agenda for the NHS is looking at prevention. And exercise prescription skills, which we will integrate with your clinical skills. So you'll end up with a really large repertoire of all of those three. I've already said we use specifically constructed case scenarios, which we release and we use across all modules. So you'll again get to look at one case study and how that relates to anatomy, and then applying that to assessment and professional standards, for example. Overall, at Winchester, we focus on a very personal development approach. So we use coaching skills within our teaching because we believe that that enables you to solve problems and will also enable you to work more effectively with patients. And we have a personal tutor system where you will get to know one of the tutors better, who is there to support you to develop personally during your time at university as well as professionally. We deal with lots of contemporary service issues, leadership and management. Quite early in study, we believe that leadership is something that you don't need to be in a leadership position as such in order to utilise those skills. And the NHS requires leaders from every element of practice. It's really important that those skills and qualities are facilitated at an early stage in your training. Research, in your second year, going into your third year with us, you will have a variety of opportunities and projects. But again, what I think every physiotherapy course involves an element of research. I think what Winchester offers is we are working with our partners in practice at the moment to get projects for our students that are relevant to practice. So it's not just doing research for research's sake. It actually has a use and a purpose and will be useful to practice locally. And at the end of the programme, we're planning to have a conference, which again, a lot of universities will do. But in this case, we're hoping that we will be able to showcase your skills to future employers, which will then help with your employability and help you to find a job once you qualify. Next slide, please. How will I learn? I think physiotherapy, I said at the beginning, it's a challenging course. You have a high number of contact hours. So in most physiotherapy courses, you can expect to be in university doing face-to-face during term time 4 to 4.5 days a week. So some other, of your peers doing other courses may not have such a high contact number of hours. It's worth bearing that in mind when you're considering studying for physiotherapy. The course is really demanding, but like I said, rewarding at the same time. We are going to use diverse learning and teaching strategies. We invite specialist clinicians and guest lecturers in so that you get a big, broad spectrum of physiotherapy and all the many areas you can work within. You know, at the university we can't possibly represent all of the specialist areas that you can work in. We have cardiorespiratory lecturers, we have neuro lecturers, we have some specialist musculoskeletal lecturers. But what we'll do is bring in for you people that work in intensive care, people that work in the military, people that work in public health, people that work in private practice, in women's health, paediatrics, the elderly, community rehab. It's such a broad career that we will bring those people to you so that you can at least experience and know what your opportunities are when you qualify. At Winchester, we have collaboration with the wider university, so we will offer you the opportunity to work with your nursing peers, which gives a big, broader view of how you will work when you're actually qualified. So working with nursing colleagues, and we also work quite closely with our sports and exercise colleagues as well, so we can utilise their skills and they can utilise ours as well. There's always the opportunity for wider curricular and volunteering opportunities within the university alongside your degree. We try not to teach on a Wednesday afternoon like most universities, so that you can take part in sports activities. We have access to dissection rooms at Southampton at the moment, where we can offer you the opportunity to look at your anatomy in real cadavers. And as we said, case scenarios that link the learning across all of the different modules. Okay, next slide please, Ruth. So this is a very busy slide. I won't spend too long on it. It's our course at Winchester. It's probably not dissimilar in lots of ways to many other courses, and I guess what you need to do is just have a look around and see which style of course suits you. The way we have structured things at Winchester is that we have given the first year is quite heavy in theory, so it's quite hard going, but it does mean that you get everything done in terms of anatomy and physiology, and the kind of preparing for practice before you go out on your first placement there you can see at the end of the first year. So you do get some patient contact in that first year, but we've definitely tried to front load the theory to make sure that you're ready to go out on placement and get the most of that, rather than it just being an observational placement, which some places may well do. Year 2 is quite clinical skills focused, so you'll get to develop all of those clinical skills alongside beginning to look at research and doing a proposal. And your 3rd year is where you start to look a bit more broadly. So you're looking at doing a research project. You're also looking at employability. So we offer that as a module with looking at physiotherapy services and how you fit into that bigger picture, both regionally and nationally and internationally. And throughout that, you can see placements are dotted around. So there's some 8-week placements. There's a couple of 4-week placements. I'll talk more a bit about the placement side of things in a second. But yeah, that's our course structure. Next slide, please. So as I said, placement opportunities. So in order to become registered with the HCPC, the Healthcare Professions Council, you need to have had more than 1,000 hours of clinical placement hours. At Winchester, we offer about 1,200 at the moment, so there's a big buffer. And we believe it's really important that you get as much exposure to real life situations as possible. Our placements, along with many other universities, I'm sure you'll work across lots of different healthcare providers. Lots of people think physiotherapy is sports and exercise and musculoskeletal and back pain and knee pain, but there's a vast variety, and I'd advise you to have a look on the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy's website, which will give you some insight really into the areas that you can work in within physio. I mentioned a few earlier on, but there's a vast variety of settings and specialties. So we would try and offer as many different learning opportunities across those placements as we possibly could, giving you experience in an acute trust, working in intensive care, or even at the front door in A&E, through to working in an outpatient setting or in primary care or in community settings. And we train all of our practice educators, so the people that would supervise you on placement. We train them to make sure that they know what to look for in terms of student learning outcomes and assessment. And ours are across a wide area of Wessex as well. So how will I be assessed? In most physiotherapy courses, there are a wide kind of range of learning outcomes for each module. So each module is slightly different in terms of what we're assessing, but you will be assessed on written assignments and exams, and also practical assessment where we're checking for safety, communication, professional behaviour before you're going out on your placement. And you are assessed continuously throughout your placement assessments by your practice educators with support from the visiting tutor. We use group work and presentations as a means of assessment, and you will be expected to work effectively within a group and present to your peers and others. You'll also probably be asked to do presentations to your team that you're working with when you're on placement. And we will give you informal and formal personalised feedback during that process as part of what they call formative and summative assessment. Next slide, please. So there's just a few comments there from current students, just to kind of give you an idea. I think the kind of theme is that physio is a full-on course, as our students say there, but it is rewarding and it's fun. And as I've said, it's a great profession to be involved in. I'm really proud to be part of it. Next slide, please. And what excites me, I guess, I said to you what excites me about physiotherapy is the vast range of areas you can work with and people you can work with. And I guess the difference you can make to people with just something really simple. And I think having that varied career, like I said, I've worked across the NHS, I've worked in private practice, I've worked in leadership roles, I've worked in education. It's been a really rewarding career and continues to be so, I would say. In terms of the university, for me, I think the team's dedication and the vast amount of skills that we have within the team in terms of our experience, and that we pride ourselves on it being a personalised approach. I really do think that at Winchester, individuals matter as one of the values, and I think that's really shown in the way that we interact with our students. And just at the bottom there, there's a link to the WELL show where AHPs, that's Allied Health Professions, which are all the professions registered under the HCPC Council. They did a careers talk, so there's a link there to the one about physiotherapy. And I think that might be me done. Just to say that all the course details can be found on our website at Winchester. And if you connect with the universities that you're interested in to follow what's going on and help you make a decision, and if you contact Winchester, and your query will be forwarded to one of us if they are unable to answer in admissions.